His father, a tycoon worth hundreds of billions, had just passed away. But his supposed fiancée, Lily Willow, didn't even bother to show up. No, she was spotted at the funeral, hanging out at a luxury hotel. She was having the time of her life with her male best friend, a fiery rage ignited. Without a single hesitation, he made a public declaration. All business ties with the Willow family were severed, and he demanded the return. The return of every single expensive gift he had ever showered her with. When this news reached Lily, she was absolutely dumbfounded. In her mind, he was nothing but a colossal simp, a hopeless romantic on standby. Always there to buy her a Hermes bag when she was sad, or to send massive cash gifts. The kind of guy to shower her with money during her time of the month. How could her wallet, I mean her ultimate backup plan, suddenly change his tune like this? But she had no idea what caused this 180. It was a tiny detail. He had just been transmigrated into a novel, and not as the hero either. He was now the story's infamous, hopelessly romantic villain, a wealthy young master. The kind who blindly chased after the two-faced female lead, Lily Willow. In the original story, he squandered hundreds of billions of the family fortune. All just to earn a single glance from her, and what was the result? With a single smirk from the real male lead, his fiancée was stolen. The two of them teamed up to bankrupt his family, leaving his reputation in tatters. Even when the original owner of the body woke up and tried to attack the male lead, the hero, boosted by his overpowered system, just literally slapped him into orbit. He died a miserable death in prison. But now that Vincent Chu has taken over this body, he swears on his entire fortune. This tragedy will not happen again, and right on cue, Lily's parents showed up. They barged right into the funeral parlor with unmatched audacity. They shamelessly demanded he approve a massive commercial district project. Demanded it right then and there. They clearly thought he was still their obedient pet. But he didn't even bother to look up. "Today is my father's funeral," he said. His voice was as cold as ice. "I'm not in the mood to discuss business." Lily's mother immediately threw a tantrum. "Our Lily agreeing to marry you is a blessing. A gift from the heavens, don't you dare be ungrateful." This scene got ugly. The surrounding guests started to whisper and gossip amongst themselves. The three other major business tycoons of Jiang City just shook their heads in pity. "He worked hard his whole life," Mr. Kang sighed, "only to leave it all to a spoiled brat." Mr. Tran clicked his tongue. "Old Chu and I were close. I planned to help the kid. But looking at him now, he's useless. With in-laws like that, even 10 Wu Chen corporations wouldn't be enough to burn through." It wasn't just them. The senior executives of his own Wu Chen corporation looked openly disappointed. They all knew the Willow family only acted this arrogant because of him. Because he had tolerated their behavior for far too long, but they had no idea. The era of the simp was officially over. He stood up abruptly, his gaze like daggers. It pierced right through Lily's mother. "You want me to handle this today? Fine." Wish granted, he turned to his assistant, his voice ringing out. It rang with absolute authority. "Notify the entire corporation, immediately. All companies tied to the Willow family are banned from participating in the project. Halt every single one of our current collaborations. Find new partners." Instantly, the funeral parlor exploded. Everyone was stunned. Wait, is this the notoriously lovesick Master Chu? Did he just say that? Isn't he the one who always just nods along? Like a puppet to whatever the Willows wanted. A few people were smirking. Now that's what we're talking about. Oh, so satisfying. Lily's parents were so mortified, they looked for a hole to crawl into. But Mrs. Willow stubbornly stuck her neck out. "My daughter never liked you. If I hadn't intervened, she never would have gotten engaged to you. You're chairman now, so you betray us. Just you wait. Without my approval, you'll never marry my daughter. If you get on your knees and apologize now, maybe we can fix this." They thought using Lily as a trump card would work on the old him. But the new Vincent just gave a subtle glance to his security team. 4 absolute mountains for bodyguards immediately stepped right up. Mr. Willow panicked, his aggressive attitude completely disappearing in a flash. He could only muster a weak threat. "Vincent Chu, don't you dare beg Lily later." With that, the two of them scrambled out of the funeral parlor like scared mice. Vincent then turned to his guests, his voice perfectly steady and calm. "I apologize to everyone for having to witness that little circus." Mr. Tran burst out laughing. "The young will surpass the old," Mr. Kang whispered. "Looks like Vincent isn't the fool everyone said he was." The Chu family might have a future after all. Meanwhile, word spread. Like a wildfire, the Willow family was getting absolutely slammed with debt collection calls. Mr. Willow, his face pale as a sheet, decisively switched his phone off. But when they got home, their mansion was surrounded by a fleet of luxury cars. The creditors had come knocking on their door. Trying not to panic, Mr. Willow told the driver to turn around and find a hotel instead. Safe in their room, the couple broke out in cold sweats. Mrs. Willow paced nervously. Did we push him too far? Vincent wouldn't be this petty, would he? It's because Lily wasn't here. Mr. Willow tried to sound brave. If she were there, he wouldn't dare. Mrs. Willow agreed frantically, then called her daughter, adding tons of extra drama. She painted them as the tragic victims and Vincent as some kind of monster. "Sweetie, if Vincent comes crying and apologizing to you in the next few days, you absolutely must not forgive him easily. Drag him in front of me. I want to see him on his knees." Meanwhile, over at the Disney theme park, Lily Willow hung up her phone, her expression darkening in an instant. But the second she saw Dylan Leaf, her best friend with ice cream, she smiled. A perfectly sweet and innocent expression, but Dylan, possessing that male lead intuition, could tell something was off. "Lily, is something troubling you?" She shook her head delicately. "It's just a tiny issue." Dylan thumped his chest like a hero. "If you ever have trouble, tell me. My abilities are far greater than you could ever imagine." Lily beamed. And so they planned a trip to Yu Mountain tomorrow, a famous scenic spot. While in Jiang City, Dylan couldn't stop bragging about how the mighty Tran family was practically begging him for favors, leaving zero reason to fear the Chu family. But what these two lovebirds didn't see were the hidden cameras capturing their every move from all angles. The next day, Vincent stood at the peak of Yu Mountain, his eyes glinting. The feng shui lines of the mountain appeared before him like shimmering threads. "This place," he muttered, "is, to be brutally honest, just a mediocre grave site. It's nowhere near worth the hefty price tag. Picking a burial site affects the entire destiny and fortune of future generations." He wasn't about to accept such shoddy, second-rate work. He frowned, asking his secretary Chloe, who was standing right beside him, who chose this spot. Apparently, the Dong family had hired a man named Dylan Leaf to survey it. Dylan Leaf. Vincent's eyes narrowed, a cold light flashing in them. He didn't think the male lead would make his move this fast. He'd already climbed the ranks with the Tran family to get a solid foothold in Jiang City. He probably used 80% of his overpowered feng shui abilities on this project. But to Vincent's upgraded eyes, his so-called master-level feng shui was average at best. If you rated feng shui from disaster to divine, this plot was barely acceptable. He spoke nonchalantly. "This grave is painfully average, absolutely worthless. Some unqualified hack actually tried to scam people out here. Tell Mr. Tran he's been taken for a ride. From this moment on, limit all contact with Dylan Leaf and immediately halt any and all projects he's involved in. A new site will take time, but the burial schedule will not be delayed." Hearing this, Chloe froze, looking at him in total shock. In her eyes, he was just a brainless playboy. Had he secretly been mastering feng shui this whole time? Or had she just completely misunderstood his genius from the very beginning? On the flip side, the Willow family was caught in a full-blown crisis. Lily's parents hadn't slept for days. Their hiding places were constantly being discovered by creditors, forcing them to bounce between hotels like fugitives on the run. Mrs. Willow felt her soul leaving her body. Without Vincent's financial backing, they were staring down a colossal debt of tens of billions. Mr. Willow was practically vibrating with pure anxiety. Their initial calm was long gone, replaced by absolute panic. At her wit's end, Mrs. Willow called her daughter, her voice sharp as a knife. "You wretched girl, the whole house is on fire and you still haven't returned. If Vincent won't look for you, don't you have the sense to go look for him? Is your pride more important than forcing your parents to beg on the streets? Hello, did you just hang up on me?" Listening to the dial tone, Mrs. Willow's eyes looked like they could burn holes in the wall. More and more elite circles in Jiang City were confirming it. The Willow family was officially tossed in the trash by Vincent. Former business partners dodged them like a disease. Rivals moved in to steal their company, while creditors hunted them down with more intensity than special agents chasing a wanted criminal. If Lily couldn't fix this catastrophic mess soon, the Willow family was doomed to collapse. Meanwhile, at the Wu Chen Corporation headquarters, after settling his father's after the funeral, he rolled up to the office in a convoy of luxury cars. Step 1, summon. The entire senior executive board, half an hour later the directors, rushed into the conference room, already sweating bullets. The tension was thick, enough to slice with a butter knife. Everyone knows a new CEO loves to light a few fires to show who's boss, so they were all on edge. The last one to stroll in was Victor Hua, the executive vice president and the second largest shareholder after him. Victor helped his dad build the empire, so technically our hero had to call him uncle, but he knew the truth. Ever since Wu Chen became the top dog in Jiang City, the man had grown greedy, embezzling a small fortune. Using his authority, Victor sat down casually, speaking in a condescending tone. "Little Vincent, why are you making such a huge fuss?" But Vincent didn't answer him. He just swept his gaze across the entire room before speaking up. "Since everyone is here, as the new chairman, I will announce a few decisions. First, Mr. Tran Laban from Logistics is hereby appointed as the chief operating officer. Mr. Tai Kong Tong from Logistics will now take over as general manager of the projects department, and Mr. La Hoa from Marketing is now chief financial officer." His words hit the room like a sonic boom. Over a dozen people shot up from their seats, their faces glowing with absolute joy. You see, the people he named were all old guard loyalists to his father. They had built this company, but when his dad got sick, they were pushed into useless departments and treated like yesterday's trash, and now they were so emotional. Their faces turned red. "Thank you, Chairman. I will give it my all. I've waited too long for this day." They had all secretly feared he was just a spoiled brat who would drive the company right off a cliff. Who knew they'd see the light today? He nodded calmly, gesturing for them to sit back down before he continued. "Second decision. The former CEO, Derek Willow, is fired immediately. For abuse of power and corruption, we will be pursuing legal action." Next, he read out a hit list of over 20 senior executives, all of them cronies tied to the Willow family. These were the parasites who used their connections to get high-paying jobs where they did absolutely nothing. With every single name called, the room grew even paler. Derek Willow, Lily's cousin, suddenly slammed his hands on the table and roared, "Chairman, I object. You have no proof. How dare you accuse me of embezzlement?" The project manager chimed in, "Yeah, we bleed for this company, even if we haven't made major breakthroughs. We've put in the hours. You just got here and you're already smearing us. Where is the justice?" Dozens of them stood up, aggressive and arrogant. They thought their shady deals were perfectly hidden. Plus, they were still banking on the fact that he was supposed to be Lily's loyal golden retriever. He calmly lit a cigar, took a puff, and said lightly, "You want proof? Prime delivery is coming right up." Chloe walked in with a few assistants. carrying a stack of documents thick enough to stop a bullet. It was a comprehensive encyclopedia of every single one of their crimes. Like an impartial judge, she coldly read out every charge, with each crime listed, another person's face. Lost its color, one guy couldn't even take it. His knees gave out and he collapsed to the floor, stammering, I'll leave right now. They pleaded with the chairman, even invoking his fiancée's name, begging him not to sue. Even Victor Hua was stunned silent by this brutal 1-2 punch. He had planned to shield them. But facing a mountain of solid evidence, he could only mutter, useless idiots. And with that, he practically sprinted out of the room. Vincent stood, adjusting his crisp shirt. He announced, this afternoon, all these documents go straight to the authorities. Brace yourselves, the Willow family's corporate infiltration was about to be exposed. Their network was completely dismantled in a single night. They shuffled out of the room. It was absolute disgrace. Once the trash was out, Vincent looked at the remaining leaders. He offered a warm smile. From now on, Miss Chloe's officially the chairman's executive secretary. Turning to Chloe, he said simply, hard work is waiting for you. She looked deeply moved. Young master, you have truly made me see you in a new light. He just chuckled softly. There are plenty more surprises where that came from. Get used to it, she nodded. Young master, the other task you assigned me is now complete. Lily Willow and Dylan Leaf have indeed been hanging out for the past few days. But according to our intel, she added, they still haven't crossed the final line. Are these photos enough? Vincent shrugged, a cold glint in his eyes. More than enough. Skipping her late father-in-law's funeral to date another man, that was all the proof he needed. Just the ammo he needed to blow this whole ridiculous engagement apart. Meanwhile, at the hotel, Derek Willow and his newly unemployed family members were fuming in the hallway. They were buzzing like angry bees, finally concluding that only Lily could save them now. Speaking of Lily, she was currently chilling at Dylan's startup company, completely unaware. She had been in a great mood, but then her phone suddenly started blowing up. Panicked calls from relatives flooded in, and her mood soured instantly. She was annoyed. Vincent, she muttered, you want to force this marriage, so you're playing these dirty tricks. Left with no choice, she walked out of the restroom and found Dylan, looking apologetic. Sorry, I have to go see my parents, she said. Something urgent came up with their investments. I'll give you an answer about joining your company tomorrow at noon, okay? Dylan nodded smoothly. No rush at all, my offer always stands. Let me drive you. Soon enough, they arrived at the hotel where her parents were hiding out. But the moment Mr. Willow saw Dylan, his face dropped below freezing. Listen here, kid, I don't care who you are, just stay away from my daughter. She is the fiancée of young Master Vincent Chu. The Chu family is untouchable in this city. If you know what's good for you, you'll get lost right now. Dylan just leaned against his car door, a smirk of absolute superiority on his face. I am Dylan Leaf, he declared. You might not know my name yet, but you will soon enough. It will echo through the political and business circles of this entire city. The Chu family, they aren't even qualified to shine my shoes, Mr. Willow almost scoffed. A little punk like you wants to take down the Chu family. Get out of my sight. Leave now before I make you. But Dylan's smirk only grew wider, his eyes flashing. He had the trademark arrogance of a story's protagonist. No one can steal the woman I choose. If I want Lily, then she is mine. Arrogant, soon you'll see something else. You'll see what a true dragon looks like when it crosses the river. Dylan then got into his car. Just as he started the engine, his phone began to ring. Hello, Mr. Tran, what's this? What? Someone criticized my feng shui, and you want me to do just a basic setup. Don't listen to that garbage. My feng shui is elite. What does that guy possibly know? Fine, I'm coming over now. After hanging up, Dylan's face was pure thunder. Vincent Chu, he seethed. I haven't even made my move, and you dare to mess with me. Sooner or later, you'll be kneeling before me. Meanwhile, back at the hotel. It was pure chaos. Mr. Willow glared at his daughter, absolutely fuming. Do you think we just magically became this rich if Vincent wasn't obsessed with you? How would we have ever expanded? Lily just pouted. What's that got to do with him? We worked hard. Her absolute, unfiltered delusion nearly gave her father a heart attack. He let out a heavy sigh, grinding out, yes, we worked hard, but listen. Without Vincent, it would have been nearly impossible. I never asked for his help. He just stuck himself to me like a piece of chewed gum, and then Lily yawned. So dramatic, her parents exchanged a look, and a decision was finally made. Mrs. Willow used her most serious mom voice. From now on, you're going to listen. Go find Vincent this instant, apologize properly, and set a wedding date. Lily exploded. Based on what? I'm not going. Who does he think he is? To make me apologize, Mr. Willow's face turned a shade of deep crimson. He raised a hand to slap her but stopped mid-swing, instead letting out. Terrifying roar. Fine, let me spell it out for you. You want to know why your relatives are calling. If you don't marry Vincent, he's putting them all in jail. He has cut off every single tie with us. We're not just losing money. The billions we invested are all gone. We don't even need Vincent to crush us. The creditors alone will eat our family alive. Not to mention, we might have forged some accounting books and taken a few bribes from Wu Chen. If that gets out, you'll spend the rest of your life visiting us in prison. Do you really want to see us die before you're satisfied? By the end, Mr. Willow was practically screaming his head off. Mrs. Willow erupted into dramatic sobs. Lily just stood there, frozen, as if struck by lightning. She had no idea her family was hiding this many skeletons in their closet. An empire collapsed in just a few days. How is this even possible? Mr. Willow gritted his teeth. Because you kept dodging the wedding, that's why. If you hadn't led him on, you'd be the chairman's wife right now. You had a golden goose and refused to catch it. What is actually wrong with you? Lily slumped onto the sofa, her soul practically leaving her body, and you can see it right, the exact moment reality hits. Impossible, Vincent's just an idiot. Since when did he become so ruthless? He even knows how to blackmail people now. She gritted her teeth, voice full of venom. Fine. Fine, I'll marry him, but even if I do, don't expect me to be nice about it. I'll make his entire life a living hell. With that, she stormed into her room, fuming. Her parents let out a massive, collective sigh of relief, as long as she agreed. Everything would be fine. They truly believed that within days the great Willow family would rise again. Feeling revitalized, they both grabbed their phones. They started calling their relatives, that old arrogant tone creeping back instantly. Once finished, they got a quick update and rushed to knock on Lily's bedroom door. Lily, sweetie, Vincent is hosting a massive gala tomorrow night, you see. It's for all the elites in Jiang City. We don't have invitations yet, so just give him a quick call and tell him to let us in. But before they could even finish, an enraged scream came from inside the room. Vincent, that absolute scumbag, blocked my number. The next day at the Jiang City Elite Club, Lily and her parents showed up anyway. The Willow family marched toward the gala, ready for a confrontation. But the second they arrived, they were swarmed by creditors who'd heard they'd be there. Mr. Willow, one man shouted, I've been hunting for you all week. Pay up now or your entire family is finished. Shoved by the crowd, Mr. Willow started to panic. Everyone, just calm down. Willows always pay their debts. Just wait, the Wu Chen project is about to pay out big, but the creditors weren't idiots. Everyone knows the Chu family dropped you. Are you trying to scam us? Pay today or I'll smash my own head against this wall. Trapped in the mob, mocked by the stares of high society, Lily finally snapped. What is all this noise about? Who said anything about not paying? She screamed. Let me be clear. We could pay off hundreds of billions if we wanted to. Now get out of our way. Her entitled outburst made everyone stop and stare. One man asked with suspicion, Miss Willow, what is your current relationship with Vincent Chu? Why'd he suddenly kick out your family and fire everyone? Lily just lifted her chin with total arrogance. We're attending Vincent's gala. Think about it, the moment I step inside, Vincent will publicly apologize. Just a few words from me, and he'll cover every single one of your debts. And of course, Mrs. Willow backed her up. That's right, the whole city knows they're engaged. My daughter wouldn't lie to you. Their tag team delusion actually worked, stunning the creditors into silence. Seizing the moment, the three Willows marched straight toward the entrance, soaking in the crowd's imaginary awe. Deep down, Lily was getting high on this feeling of power and status. I still like Dylan more, she thought to herself. But I can't let this go. Fine, I'll marry Vincent. But I'll keep seeing Dylan on the side. What's Vincent gonna do about it? But reality came crashing down hard at the door. 4 huge security guards blocked their path like a mountain. Invitations, please. Mr. Willow put on his best VIP smile, patting a guard's shoulder. What's your name, son? I'll make sure Vincent gives you a nice promotion. The fake kindness was just embarrassing. The guard's face was solid stone. No invitation, no entry. Losing his cool, Mr. Willow snapped. I forgot it. Just go tell your boss Lily Willow is here. He'll let us right in. But the guard was an immovable object. Our boss gave clear orders. Without an invite, not even the emperor gets inside. The 3 of them froze solid. Their public humiliation was drawing a crowd. Someone yelled from the back, no invite. Then get lost. This is a Chu family gala, not some charity shelter for stray animals. Lily tried her best to stay quiet. Harassed by creditors, now shamed by security, it was all too much. She just couldn't take it. She lifted her chin, her voice dripping with venom. You blind dogs. Take a good long look at who I am. The guard didn't even flinch. Your name. A dog like me wouldn't be worthy. Now know your place and scram. Lily's face turned purple with rage, her eyes completely bloodshot. This was the first time in her life she'd ever been stopped by Chu family security. In the past, these same guys would clear a 10-meter path for her, and now they dared to block her. She completely dropped her elegant lady act, rolling up her sleeves and screeching, You blind idiots, I am Vincent's fiancée. I am your future boss. How dare you disrespect me? When I see Vincent, you're all dead meat. But Mrs. Willow wasn't about to be outdone, throwing herself on the ground and unleashing a full-blown tantrum. Oh, the heavens are blind. The hosts of this party are being blocked at their own door. Look at this, everyone. My son-in-law feeds these thugs, and they dare to block his own in-laws. They were deliberately making a scene, hoping to draw Vincent's attention from inside the venue. They firmly believed that the second he saw Lily, he'd revert to his old simp settings and beg for her forgiveness, letting the Willow family flip the entire situation. Just then, a group of people approached. Led by old Master Tran, patriarch of a family on par with the Chus, walking beside him with a cane, Lily suddenly spotted a familiar face. Dylan. Her face lit up with joy, forgetting all her grievances as she instantly switched back to her delicate persona. Dylan, what a coincidence. You're here too, Dylan's own eyes lit up. Lily, it really is a coincidence. After yesterday, do you remember the days we spent together? Lily was about to pour her heart out, but Mrs. Willow quickly clamped a hand over her mouth. Dylan saw right through the Willow's pathetic predicament. Playing the hero, he just smiled at Mr. Tran. Mr. Tran, these are my friends. Could you do me a favor and bring them in? Consider it a favor owed to me. Mr. Tran, who valued Dylan immensely at the moment, happily agreed. Let's all go in. Even so, the guard was cautious, heading inside to report it first. He came back a moment later. The boss says you can enter, a flash in Dylan's eyes. Vincent Chu isn't so simple. Not sending the Willows an invite proves he's furious. But letting him bring them in, that means Vincent is giving him face. Very interesting. Inside the dazzling hall, an assistant approached Mr. Tran. Chairman Chu invites you to the VIP room. Mr. Tran nodded, then turned to Dylan. Will you stay down here or come up with me to meet the true elites? Dylan hesitated. He didn't want to leave Lily's side, but a networking opportunity with the top dogs of Zhang City was too rare to pass up. He looked at Lily apologetically. Sorry, Lily, I have some business. I'll find you after. Lily just nodded. It's fine. I have to go find Vincent and demand an explanation anyway. How dare he treat me like this? Inside the VIP room were 4 or 5 middle-aged and elderly men with powerful auras, members of the Kang family. The Dong family and some heavyweights from the political sphere. And right in the center, the undeniable focal point, sat Vincent Chu. Dylan was stunned. He'd always thought of Vincent as some pathetic loser, but looking at him now, it was like he stepped out of a high-end comic book, exuding the aura of an untouchable aristocratic scholar. It made him genuinely wonder if Lily Willow's brain was even functioning correctly. Mr. Tran began the introductions. This is Dylan Leaf, a very promising young man. He just arrived in Zhang City, but has already made quite a fortune. Mr. Dong nodded approvingly. I like talented young people, especially someone like our young Master Chu here. Vincent just smiled and stayed silent. Dylan felt a sharp spike of annoyance, but quickly swallowed it. He thought to himself, just wait, these old-timers would soon realize who the true genius was. Mr. Tran continued his introduction, noting this was the youngest chairman of Wuchen. The heir to the Chu Corporation, supposedly the most talented young man and powerful in all of Zhang City. Dylan forced a tight smile. He offered his hand, saying, "Hello, Chairman Chu," but Vincent just gave him a flat stare. "Hello, what are you doing here?" Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted. It dropped to freezing. The only sound was breathing. All the tycoons fell silent. They were ready for the drama, practically grabbing popcorn. Mr. Tran closed his eyes. He was anxious to see how Dylan would handle this, and Dylan was clearly caught off guard. He expected Vincent to follow polite society's rules, not this brutal honesty. He never thought Vincent would be so blunt, but he came prepared and countered immediately. The feng shui I arranged for the Chu family was flawless, usually wealthy families. Like yours highly respect feng shui and capable masters like me. Vincent just smiled. So are you here to offer a refund? He asked. Dylan was completely stunned. He had imagined Vincent yelling, arguing, getting angry, not just asking for his money back. A refund? I don't understand, Dylan said stiffly, but I heard from Mr. Tran that you weren't satisfied with the feng shui I chose for your father's tomb. And that you even picked a new one yourself. Let me be frank. Different trades are different worlds, Chairman Chu. You should show a little respect. Respect for the art of feng shui. The tension in the room grew incredibly tight. Dylan confidently declared, the tomb I chose is a perfect golden carp land. I absolutely guarantee it will bring the Chu family nothing but smooth sailing. Vincent knew that confidence came directly from Dylan's system, but there was a catch. The second Dylan walked in, Vincent's own god-tier villain system had already scanned him. Scanned him completely. His system was light years ahead. He replied with ice in his voice. You're right, it's a golden carp land, he said, but it's a completely useless one. In fact, it puts my family in extreme danger if I hadn't found it early. The entire Chu family would have become a pile of worthless, rotting salted fish. Are you deliberately trying to sabotage my family? The room froze completely solid. The tycoons realized it instantly. Dylan had made a colossal, fatal error. For powerful families like theirs, feng shui wasn't a game, it was life and death. And messing with an ancestral tomb is an unforgivable sin, no matter who you are. Mr. Tran's face went ashen. He deeply regretted bringing Dylan, if this was true. He would be implicated, but a question lingered. Did Vincent actually know anything about feng shui, realizing the absolute gravity of the situation? Dylan remained stubborn, trusting the skills that had been gifted by his system. He argued back, Chairman Chu, you can't just make claims. Where is your proof? On what basis are you saying I chose wrong? I'm not bragging, but in this whole country, the number of people qualified to even comprehend my talent can be counted on one hand. And they only dare doubt me until I hit them in the face with pure, undeniable reality. His speech was powerful, The tycoons watched the showdown without a word. Just then, a piercing voice echoed from just outside the VIP room door. "Vincent Chu, I know you're in there. Come out this instant, or I swear I will never forgive you for the rest of my life." It was Lily Willow's voice. It pierced right through the door. "You guard dogs, how dare you stop me? Do you know who I am?" "Who is he? Even your boss has to bow to him." Hearing that tone, everyone in the room knew. The tycoons in the room just shook their heads, sensing the incoming drama. They looked at Vincent with pure amusement. Dylan, on the other hand, was completely rattled. He was just building up his main character moment, and then Lily arrived. She came in and ruined everything. He was furious if he didn't solve this now. He knew he'd never get another chance. Chloe opened the door and spoke coldly. "Miss Willow, watch your tone. This isn't a place for your tantrums." Seeing Chloe, Lily completely lost it. "I remember you. You're just a glorified maid for the Chu family. You're the one who's been whispering garbage into Vincent's ear, aren't you? Ruining him. Now move aside and let me in." Her parents stood behind her, letting her rage. They were absolutely convinced he was still the same old simp for their daughter. One look from her and all problems would just disappear, but then his voice cut through the noise. "Freezing cold, kick them out." Lily's eyes widened in total disbelief. She thought she was hallucinating. She tried peeking inside, but all she saw was Chloe's back blocking the way. A wave of pure indignation washed over her, and she immediately burst into tears. The crowd outside stared at the Willows like they were clowns. "Just a circus show," someone whispered. "Is that the famous Willow family? So shameless. I heard Vincent doesn't even want her anymore, but she's still clinging on." Though quiet, Mr. and Mrs. Willow heard every single word. They wished the ground would just swallow them whole. Mr. Willow hurriedly spoke up. "Vincent, my good son-in-law, we came to apologize for our rudeness the other day. Lily was out of line delaying the wedding, but we've already taught her a lesson. We're here to apologize and discuss the marriage. Please, can you let us in?" Lily stared at her dad in complete shock. She couldn't believe he was stooping this low, lowering himself for a guy she despised, and then she screamed out, "Vincent, you are finished. I am completely disappointed in you, don't you even dream of me ever looking your way again." She sobbed dramatically, tears streaming. But the two bouncers couldn't have cared less about her amateur theatrics. They prepared to execute the eviction order, but right at that very moment, Dylan's voice rang out from the VIP room. "Hold on." Lily paused her act. She quickly wiped her tears, switching to a fragile and gentle expression. "Oh, Dylan, you're here. I'm so sorry you had to see this joke. I'm usually not like this. It's just that Vincent is too much. Not only does he bully me, but he also tortures my parents." Dylan puffed out his chest, radiating that kingly energy. "I understand. Let me handle this." He turned to Vincent with a sneer. "So this is how the Chu family treats its guests. I clearly overestimated you, turns out. You only know how to bully women. I don't need to associate with scum like you. I'll refund the 500 million, not because my feng shui is bad, but simply because I look down on you." Dylan's words were a massive insult, but it was all calculated. He wanted the tycoons to see him as some unyielding, righteous hero. Relying on his secret, overpowered background, he used this reverse psychology to save Lily, fix the problem, and make her fall completely in love with him. But Vincent, he just threw his head back and burst into laughter. Mr. Tran's face turned black as coal. Feeling things spiral out of control, he quickly interjected, "Vincent, I brought them in, but this has nothing to do with me." He whirled on Dylan. "Do you have any idea what you're doing? Shut your mouth. If you don't, never expect my help again." He raised a hand, silencing Mr. Tran. Then he spoke slowly. "First, the Willow family has no invitation. That means they are not my guests. Tonight is my gala. This place belongs to Wuchen Corporation. What I do here is my business, and nobody like you should try to play the hero. You think I'm targeting you from the very start. You haven't even registered on my radar. Without Mr. Tran, you wouldn't even be qualified to stand in the same room as me. Second, I know you want to see me humiliated in front of the Willows. Fine, we have 200 VIPs downstairs who probably want a show anyway. Let's settle this right now." He casually stood and walked out of the VIP room. Seeing him, Lily immediately looked down her nose at him. "So, you finally came out. Are you insane?" He simply raised an eyebrow. "Is there something wrong with your brain?" she glared. "You're the psycho. Weren't you just trying to force me to marry you? Fine. Wish granted, let's get married." But Chloe at his side laughed coldly. No need. You're not qualified to marry the young master." "What? How dare you say I'm not qualified?" Lily couldn't believe it. The boy who used to trail after her like a lost puppy was now calling her unworthy. He smirked. "She's right. You aren't. Your looks are average at best. Your personality, on the other hand, is bottom of the barrel, unreasonable, loud, two-faced, and fake. What exactly makes you worthy of me? The Chu family isn't royalty, but we have standards. We have a reputation. My wife doesn't need to be a supermodel, but at least she needs to be competent and know her place. You fail every single requirement. As for the engagement, just like you always told me, it was all just a joke. Now the joke is over." With that, he led Chloe down the stairs to the second floor. He soaked in the awestruck stares of the elite. Lily stood there like a statue, completely numb as he brushed right past her. Her parents were paralyzed. Panic flooded their eyes as a terrifying realization hit them. Their daughter was dumped. The family was finished. Mr. Willow screamed, "Vincent! Is this how the Chu family treats their future in-laws? Are all billionaires this cold-blooded? My daughter has suffered so much. I won't stay quiet. I'll go to the press. I'll ruin Wuchen's reputation." Then Mrs. Willow wailed, "Vincent, you're a monster. You even bully your own wife. Is there anything you won't do?" Snapping back to reality, Lily gritted her teeth. "Vincent, stop the games. Apologize to me right now, and I'll pretend today never happened." He acted like he didn't even hear her, leading Chloe onto the stage. The staff instantly adjusted the mics and spotlights for him. Every VIP in the room had their eyes locked on him. He smiled into the microphone. "I apologize if my hospitality has been lacking tonight. I hope you can all forgive me." The crowd laughed politely, saying it was an honor just to be there. They urged him to handle his private matters. Besides, no one liked the Willows. The Willows turned pale the moment they came downstairs. The elites avoided them like the plague. Only Dylan stuck by them. He was trying desperately to look fearless. On stage, Vincent just chuckled. "I'm sure everyone has heard the rumors that I cut business ties with the Willow family." He made it clear this wasn't a rumor, it was a fact. The Wu Chen family would see this decision through to the very end. His words crashed down like thunder. Instinctively, the crowd took a few steps back, away from the Willows. Even the waiters took a different route. Mr. Willow looked like he'd been struck by lightning, his world just spinning. Mrs. Willow was so furious that she literally fainted, collapsing onto the cold floor. Lily gasped for air, her face beet red, glaring at him on stage. But she was completely unable to utter a single word. Willow howled in despair, screaming about the Chu family having no shame. He accused them of bullying family, asking who dare do business with Wu Chen. He was determined to drag Vincent's family down into the mud with him. Dylan quickly seized the chance to fan the flames, calling Vincent a scumbag. Heartless and unjust, he pitied anyone who would ever partner with Wu Chen. He stood among the crowd, pretending to be some kind of beacon of justice. If he treats his fiancée this way, imagine how he treats his business partners. That speech sent a murmur of doubt rippling through the entire hall. People began to reconsider. After all, Lily was still technically his fiancée. His actions did seem a bit too ruthless, to treat his future wife like trash. Would his partners be next? Their gazes toward him quickly turned cautious. Mr. Tran, Mr. Dong, and Mr. Kang shook their heads in utter disappointment. Dylan smirked, thinking he had finally won. that he had ruined Vincent's reputation. In Zhang City, Vincent looked down, asking coldly, "And what exactly are you to the Willow family?" Dylan replied smoothly, "I am their friend, I just can't stand." Seeing people getting bullied, Vincent let out a harsh, cold laugh. To him, Dylan looked less like a friend and more like a backstabbing creep. Before the crowd could react, Chloe pulled a cord. A huge screen dropped down. Right there behind him, a slideshow of high-definition photos started playing. Exhibit A, Lily Willow and Dylan Leaf, way too cozy at an amusement park. They were practically glued together, acting just like a pair of high school sweethearts. The hall went dead silent. The Willows froze, their blood running absolutely cold. Dylan stood paralyzed, his brain completely short-circuiting on the spot. Vincent spoke casually, pointing out just how very close those two were. One was his supposed fiancée, Lily Willow, the other, a self-proclaimed family friend. Or, as he called him, a shameless creep. Why? Because only a creep knows. A woman is engaged and still follows her around like some lovesick dog. And only a creep has the audacity to crash my party and preach about morals. He then let everyone in the crowd be the judge of that. He turned his gaze to the Willows. He would ignore that her parents threw a tantrum. At his own father's funeral, just focusing on Lily, he'd spent at least $1 billion. That kind of money is enough to woo a top Hollywood star, and her. When his father was gravely ill, she didn't visit him once, not a single phone call. And he said he could have even tolerated that, but on the actual day of his funeral, his future wife was out on a date with another man. Did the Willow family seriously think he was that easy to push around? The hall absolutely exploded, the future madam of Wu Chen pulling something like this. Model Vincent showed incredible restraint. Anyone else would have slapped her by now. The three business tycoons were also completely stunned. Mr. Dong just muttered, "Almost backed the wrong horse. The Willow family has zero shame if I got played." Like that, those two wouldn't live to see another day. He turned on Mr. Tran, snapping, "Old Tran, bringing this Dylan guy here. Were you trying to humiliate me?" Mr. Kang couldn't help but shudder. In the VIP room, everyone saw how Dylan looked at Lily. Something was clearly wrong. What a snake. Meanwhile, Mr. Tran was so furious he could barely breathe. He finally roared at Dylan, "You have deeply disappointed me. I completely wasted my time on you," but Dylan stubbornly tried to defend himself. "This is a misunderstanding. Lily and I are just friends." He pointed at the screen, shouting, "The camera angle makes it look bad." But Mr. Tran wasn't buying it. "Do I look like an idiot? A woman skips $1 billion inheritance and her own father-in-law's funeral just to be with you. And you call that just friends? Who in their right mind would believe that?" Dylan's head was spinning. The powerful connections he had so carefully built with these tycoons had just vanished into thin air over one careless moment. Furious and losing all control, he turned and roared at Lily, "Why didn't you make it clear? If I had known Vincent's dad was dead, I wouldn't be in this disaster." Lily was completely shocked. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. The guy she liked was screaming at her, "You have the nerve to yell at me. Just friends, didn't you beg me to invest my inheritance into your startup? For free, didn't you want me to be your private secretary? You charmed me. All this time and now suddenly we're just friends." Lily absolutely broke down. She clutched her head, tears streaming down her face. Her words only confirmed the sketchy nature of their relationship. Dylan's mind went blank. He bellowed, "If you don't know how to speak, then just shut your mouth." He never realized she could be this stupid. What a terrible partner. The elites just pointed and whispered. In fact, many pulled out their phones to record all the drama. Unable to watch, Mrs. Willow woke up just in time to deliver a sharp slap across Lily's face. "How could you do this?" Mr. Willow, holding on to his sanity, grabbed his daughter, hissing in her ear, "You still have a chance. If Vincent loved you that much, he'd die for you. He will forgive you. Get on your knees and apologize. Slap yourself, hurt yourself, do whatever it takes, but get his forgiveness." If you don't, I will kill you with my own hands." Panicking, Lily stumbled towards the stage, looking up at Vincent with pleading eyes. "Vincent, I was wrong. I'll marry you right now. I'll live just how you want me to. You love me so much. You'll forgive me, right?" But Vincent barely even glanced at her, treating her like she was invisible. His cold silence said everything. "Mistakes have a price," he announced. "Therefore, I am officially canceling my engagement to Lily Willow. Furthermore, I'm demanding the return of all expenses from our entire relationship. I won't bother with the small things, but the heart of the sea sapphire necklace. She must return it." With that, Chloe walked up to a stunned Lily and unclasped the billion-dollar necklace from around her neck. Snapping back to reality, Lily's eyes went wild. She looked like a complete madwoman as she lunged at Chloe, screaming, "Give that back. The heart of the sea is mine." Screaming that they were all nothing but thieves before trying to bolt. But security guards were faster, pinning her right to the floor. Disgusted whispers erupted from the crowd as VIPs applauded his decision. "Brilliant, should have canceled it ages ago. Whoever marries her is bringing a curse into their house," but he continued. "Naturally, I don't let personal feelings dictate corporate decisions. Even after I discovered her cheating, he never planned to cut business ties just because of that. The real reason is that, during their partnership, the Willow family used fake contracts to defraud his company. They even set up shell companies, siphoned funds, used substandard materials, and completely cooked the books. These actions created severe safety hazards in several completed projects, causing massive damages to his corporation. It's for this blatant fraud that the partnership was terminated. It has absolutely nothing to do with my personal life." He then gave Chloe a nod. Instantly, a new slideshow appeared. Financial records, surveillance photos, even audio recordings. It was undeniable proof of the Willow family's every single crime. The Willows weren't just facing bankruptcy, they were facing prison time. And right on cue, several court officials marched right into the hall, heading straight toward the three Willows. Mr. Willow clutched a one-way ticket, his escape plan now useless. A wave of helplessness hit him as Mrs. Willow fainted dead away on the cold floor again. Officials dragged them out, and he spoke up. "The circus act is over." At that, over a dozen suited bodyguards moved in, hauling the broken and exhausted Willow family out of the venue, banning them forever. Only Dylan was left behind, standing alone, the prime target of the elite's mockery. Trying to save his dignity, he looked up at him. "Lily hasn't married you yet, she's single. I competed fairly, so I have nothing to feel guilty about." The crowd was stunned. They were engaged, and he calls her single, the sheer nerve. Ignoring the glares, Dylan pressed on. "I said it was fair competition. Don't use this personal drama to smear my feng shui skills. If you don't have proof, then take back what you just said." He figured that even if he lost the girl, he could still save his reputation through feng shui. After all, the system gave him that skill. It can't be wrong. Mr. Tran stayed silent, still somewhat believing in Dylan's supposed talent. But our main character just laughed. "Dylan, since you're so stubborn, I'll show you exactly how garbage your skills are. The tomb you chose was a golden carp land, right? But right next to it, there's a hidden Kylan land. All the Earth's energy and spiritual veins are being completely sucked dry by that Kylan. A carp without water is a dead fish. Did you really think a carp could fight a Kylan without water? How does it leap the Dragon Gate? In the end, you picked a piece of cursed wasteland. You barely learned the basics, and you dare to show off. Go home and read a few books before you call yourself a master." Dylan looked like he'd been struck by lightning, his face pale as a ghost. Shaking violently, in his eyes, Vincent suddenly loomed like an unscalable mountain. Was his system's feng shui flawed? No, the golden carp land was real. The principles were correct, but the fatal error was missing the hidden Kylan land nearby, which was draining all the energy. Seeing that reaction, the crowd knew. They instantly knew Vincent was right. This guy picked a terrible plot of land, called it a treasure, and charged a fortune. Remembering his cocky attitude, the entire hall erupted in laughter. The tycoons just shook their heads, looking at Dylan with absolute contempt. After that public dismantling, the heavyweights like Mr. Dong and Mr. Kang secretly elevated his status. In their minds, he was now an equal. Mr. Tran was just shell-shocked. Chloe had warned him that Dylan was a total fraud, but he wouldn't listen. Now he knew Vincent wasn't playing around. His gaze toward Dylan turned ice cold. The kind of look you give a dead man walking. Under that stare, Dylan broke out. A cold sweat, trembling uncontrollably. He frantically checked his skills and realized everything Vincent said was 100% accurate. For the first time, Dylan's plot armor confidence completely shattered. Is this guy a monster? His mind was in chaos. He knew he couldn't stay a second longer. Dylan lowered his head and slinked out of the hall, ignoring the jeers. He clenched his fists, muttering, "Don't think Feng Shui is my only trick. It's just one of my countless abilities, just you wait. Soon I'll shake Zhang City to its very core. I'll make every last one of you regret this. 30 years on the East Bank, 30 years on the West. You're all just dancing clowns." Dylan vanished, but Vincent didn't stop him. Because right at that moment, the system's voice pinged in his head, a new god-tier choice unlocked. The male lead, Dylan Leaf, has sabotaged the host's relationship, acting as a third party. The system offers 3 choices. 1. Hold a press conference. Publicly shame the cheating couple, make them a national laughingstock. Reward. All attributes +2. Option 2. Serve proper revenge. Steal every woman associated with Dylan Leaf and strip him of everything, letting him taste a terrifying counterattack. Reward max charm attribute. Option 3. Chase Dylan out of Zhang City and absorb his opportunities. Reward 20 billion in cash. Vincent didn't even hesitate. Option 2. Stealing the protagonist's harem and taking all his loot. What could possibly be more fun? Instantly, a jolt of electricity surged through his body. The max charm attribute was rewiring his entire being, turning him into an absolutely flawless existence. When he looked up, an invisible wave of magnetism radiated from him. A glowing pearl in the darkness, the crowd gasped. Is it just me, or did Chairman Chu just get way hotter? His face is the same, but his aura, it's irresistible. Oh my God, my heart's racing. Vincent is so handsome. I just want one night with him. From socialites to young heiresses, every woman in the room stared at him with sparkling, hungry eyes. Even Chloe, his stone-cold secretary, just spaced out, muttering, strange. The young master is still the same, but he gives off this vibe I can't describe. Looking at him just makes my heart feel empty, and like only he can fill it. Within 3 seconds, her face turned apple red. In her entire life, she had never said anything so unbelievably cheesy. Alone about a man, what was she saying? That's not right, Julia panicked. But she still couldn't stop stealing glances at him. Vincent just marveled at the situation. The power of Max Charm is terrifying. Every woman's stare felt like they were ready to eat him alive. He knew he couldn't stay, quickly slipping out the back door and headed to his Lanshan villa under a heavy security escort. Inside the villa's study, Chloe was holding the heart of the sea necklace. Young master, what should we do with this? I suggest putting it up for auction. We'll find buyers for sure. Keep it, he replied casually. It's a gift for you. I have no use for it. Chloe froze. A gift for me? This was a billion-dollar item. She had worked for years, barely saving a few million. Plus, a jewel like this was meant for a lover, just like the one he gave to Lily. Did he want her to be his wife? Her heart hammered against her ribs. Before, she would have rejected it in a heartbeat, but now, the thought of being this man's wife didn't sound so bad. He, of course, was totally oblivious to her inner romantic crisis. The real reason he gave her the necklace was his prep for a massive project. One that would launch his net worth from hundreds of billions to $1 trillion. The government was auctioning off a massive 20,000-acre plot of land. Because it had a swamp, it was deemed unsuitable for high-rises. The starting bid was a measly 15 billion dirt cheap, but they didn't know the swamp wasn't deep. Hire experts publish a survey and boom, the land's value would double. It would double overnight, and the crazy part. The province would soon select this exact plot to build a massive university city. When that happened, its value would skyrocket dozens of times over. This was a God-given opportunity. In the original novel, Dylan used this very plot of land to become a billionaire overnight, crushing all the Zhang City families and becoming the ultimate boss. Our MC's job, make sure he didn't have the cash to bid against him. In the story, Dylan borrowed from the Tran and Dong families, but our hero had just severed those ties. No one in Zhang City would lend him a dime now. Still, better safe than sorry. Dylan had his own overpowered investment system. Our MC had to crush him on all fronts. This was a headache to handle alone. With Chloe's help, a total breeze. What's $1 billion necklace compared to $1 trillion project? Besides, Chloe was destined to be his person anyway. What's hers is his, right? Chloe's eyes suddenly widened. Young master, are you serious? The swamp can be handled. Of course, you think I joke around with 30 billion. Where did you get this intel? You don't need to know, just know it's rock solid. Right now, only 3 people know, you, me, and one other guy. Seeing his confidence and remembering his recent ruthless streak, Chloe stopped doubting. She became dead serious. Young master, this cannot leak. If other corporations find out, they'll liquidate everything to fight us for this land. Spending 30 billion to make $1 trillion, any idiot knows that math, he smirked. As long as we keep quiet, nobody will ever know, but Chloe hesitated. But didn't you say there was a third person? She assumed it was some mysterious informant who tipped him off. What if he leaks it? Should I have some people take care of him? Cleanly, no loose ends. A flash of pure killer instinct crossed her eyes. He jumped. Whoa, hitwoman. There's no need for that. He can't make any waves. Vincent is already on it. Curious, Chloe asked, so who is he anyway? Dylan Leaf, Vincent answered. His tone was flat. Meanwhile, at the Tran estate, Mr. Tran stormed into his house. He slammed his tea down and roared. Dylan dared to humiliate me in front of everyone. He's a dead man. His assistant immediately understood the unspoken order. He pulled out a phone, ready to call the family's fixers and arrange a small accident. But before he could even dial, a servant rushed in. Sir, there's a woman at the door. She's requesting an audience and says she's from the Leaf family of Golden City. Her name is Tessa Leaf. Mr. Tran inhaled sharply. The Leaf family from Golden City. They were a top-tier financial syndicate, an absolute powerhouse. Their public assets were in the tens of trillions, not to mention their military ties. The Tran family was just an insect compared to them. He leaped up and personally ran to the door. A breathtaking young woman stood there in a simple white tee and a baseball cap. Tran Tian Trong put on his most welcoming, customer service smile. I am Tran Tian Trong, the head of the Tran family. Tessa looked at him, her voice soft. But it was firm. I am Tessa Leaf. I came here today to give you a warning. Dylan Leaf is part of our family. He is my younger brother. Do not make things difficult for him. Mr. Tran's mind completely shattered. He never dreamed Dylan had such terrifying backing. The world is full of people named Leaf. How could he have known? He never connected some random startup kid to the Leaf family, a mega-rich heir. Playing the broke underdog in Zhang City, what a psycho, he cursed internally. Outwardly, he just laughed warmly. Miss Leaf, you're overthinking this, Dylan and I. We have no bad blood. Why would I ever make things difficult for him? Tessa nodded. Good, don't mind me. He's my only brother, and I just wanted to make absolutely sure. He's safe, of course, Mr. Tran beamed. Dylan is a brilliant young man. Everyone loves him. Nobody would ever dare to go against him. Brilliant, my foot. The kid is an arrogant idiot, Mr. Tran added silently. Tessa reached into her bag. She pulled out a card and handed it to him. This is a VIP black card for the Dream Pavilion. It's a small token in Golden City. Please accept it. Goodbye. And with that, she left. His assistant scoffed. The Leaf family is so cheap. They send a free meal card. Who are they trying to insult? Mr. Tran sighed heavily. You complete fool. You don't understand. This isn't just a gift, it's proof. Only core family members can hand these cards out. A basic VIP dinner there starts at 1 billion. The assistant's eyes bugged out. As for Dylan, Mr. Tran continued darkly, you will keep your mouth shut and swallow the key. You will never mention it again. After thinking it over, Mr. Tran called Vincent and told him everything. He explained what happened with Tessa Leaf, but Vincent's reaction shocked him. He was completely calm. It was as if he already knew this would happen. Tran wondered, is he not scared? Where does his confidence come from? At a rundown motel, hunted by creditors. The Willows had fled to a cheap, dingy inn. Mr. Willow sat down hard on the bed. He stared daggers at Lily. Come here, Neil. Lily was stunned. What? Are you deaf, Neil? He roared. I won't, she rebelled. She was punished like this as a child, but ever since she started dating Vincent. Her dad had treated her like a princess. The good life had made her forget the pain. But a second later, Mr. Willow whipped off his leather belt. Lily was terrified. Lily collapsed to her knees, crying out in raw disbelief. This isn't my fault. It's all Vincent's fault. Why are you making me kneel? But she saw the belt raise. She shrieked, no, Dad, don't hit me. It hurts. The crack of the leather belt echoed through the thin walls, mixing with Lily's desperate wails and sobs. The louder she cried, the harder he struck, finally shoving a blanket in her mouth. It muffled the noise until she was covered in welts. Panting, Mr. Willow stopped. He finally stopped, his voice dripping with venom. If you'd been a good girl and gone, would we be in this mess? But you hung out with that loser Dylan instead. You humiliated me. When I die, will you bring some boy to dance on my grave? He then turned to Mrs. Willow, who had been sitting there in total, terrified silence. What are you looking at? He snarled. Get over here and take your beating. Mrs. Willow scrambled back. But why do I have to get hit too? I'm begging Vincent tomorrow, Mr. Willow explained grimly. We all need to look as pathetic as possible to make him feel bad if you want to go back to being rich. Do as I say, Mrs. Willow thought for a moment, then gritted her teeth. Fine, she spat, hit me. A few brutal moments later, Mr. Willow finally collapsed. He was completely exhausted. Enough, no one sleeps tonight, we need to look terrible. I refuse to believe Vincent's heart is made of stone, groaning from the pain. Mrs. Willow somehow stood up, glaring at her husband. Your turn now, mister. Mr. Willow just laughed weakly. I don't need to fake it, just looking at you too. Ages me 10 years. He then grabbed a lipstick from her purse and smeared some on. He faked some red welts on himself. Mrs. Willow's eyes widened in absolute outrage. You bastard! The next morning, at the Lanshan Villa, Vincent was starting his day. He was about to inspect the commercial district when security called with a report. 3 people were kneeling at the front gate, crying and blocking the entire road. It was the Willows. Lily and her mother knelt there looking like traumatized zombies. Mr. Willow, meanwhile, was doing all the heavy lifting, wailing like a banshee. I taught her a lesson. Just look at the bruises. She won't be arrogant again. Please just give us a way to survive. Lily can be your servant, your horse. If she can't be your wife, a mistress then, even a maid is fine too. His dream of his daughter as CEO's wife was dead. All he wanted was to get the contracts back and keep the creditors from his door. He was banking on Vincent's 3 years of shameless simping to save his family. But Vincent just sneered, playing the victim. Actions have consequences. That was his one rule. Chloe suggested, let's use the back gate, they'll leave. But Vincent shook his head. No, we take the front, am I scared of them? But they're blocking the road, Chloe argued. The cars can't get past them. Then we drive through them, Vincent said coldly. Chloe was visibly startled. She saw herself as ruthless, but this was something else, in broad daylight. Don't worry, Vincent assured her. I have it covered. At worst, a few years in a VIP cell. The Chu family name isn't just for show, and seeing his resolve. Chloe didn't argue any further. She just radioed the lead driver, "Keep driving." If anything happens, the Chu family covers all costs, with that promise. The driver didn't hesitate. For the Chu family, he'd run over a kaiju. With that, 5 brand new luxury cars rolled steadily toward the front gates. Willow howled his pathetic plea, but inside the car, Wu Chen didn't even spare him a glance. A single look, Lily glanced up too. The moment she saw him, she froze, feeling like she was in a total dream. Just one look at Wu Chen, and an overwhelming urge to spend her entire life with him. Washed right over her. Was this destiny? He was the same man, but still. Why did she love him so much she felt she could die for him? Lily broke down sobbing. Consumed by regret, but there's no going back. The power of Wu Chen's charm was absolute. The driver honked, but the car showed no signs of slowing down. Mr. Willow gritted his teeth. He was playing the world's dumbest game of chicken, betting Wu Chen wouldn't actually run him down. But when the bumper was just 5 meters away, and still accelerating, he panicked, diving away while screaming, "Wu Chen, you absolute psycho. You were actually going to run us over, you monster." The 3 of them went sprawling. They tumbled into the dirt like a bunch of homeless beggars as the convoy sped past. The cars left them choking in a cloud of exhaust fumes, over at the South District Commercial Project. This was supposed to be Wu Chen's biggest project yet, but now things were different. After cutting ties with the Willows, the supply chain collapsed, and the site looked like a total ghost town. As Wu Chen was inspecting the area, a huge commotion suddenly erupted nearby. A crowd of furious construction workers had completely surrounded the project manager. Tran Dong demanding their pay. He waved his hands frantically at the angry crowd. "You'll get paid once the project is finished. The big boss is here today, so don't make a scene." But that only made the workers more aggressive. Tran Dong's face turned grim. He spotted an absolute unit of a worker in the crowd, almost 2 meters tall, built like a tank. But the man had a surprisingly honest, simple-looking face. Tran Dong decided to make a public example of him. "Max Chen, you're fired. Pack your things and get out of here." Max immediately panicked. No, I won't say another word, I promise. I'm going back to work." The other workers fell completely silent, terrified of losing their own jobs. Getting rehired in this place was next to impossible. Watching this unfold, Wu Chen felt nothing but disgust, a manager who would rather suppress his workers than actually solve the problem. Pathetic, but his attention was immediately drawn to the big guy, Max Chen. Wu Chen searched his memory for a moment, and then his eyes lit up. Max the Mountain Chen. In the original story, he was one of Dylan's 4 heavenly kings, a complete physical beast. He could take down a dozen special ops soldiers all by himself, handling all of Dylan's dirty work. Finding him here was an absolute jackpot. If Wu Chen could get him on his side, he'd have the ultimate human shield. In the novel, after Wu Chen was killed, Kevin Kim came to avenge him, but Dylan, with Max as his enforcer, crushed Kevin and took complete control of the underworld. Wu Chen wasn't letting that happen again. He casually waved Tran Dong over, asking, "What is going on here?" Tran Dong scurried over, sweating bullets. "Chairman Chu, these workers are being totally unreasonable, demanding their wages before the project is done." Wu Chen's expression darkened. "I heard that they were never paid for the last phase, while the Willow family's people all got their money." Tran Dong stuttered. "That's because the Willows took all the available funds. There was nothing I could do. I had no choice, so I kept my mouth shut." So he'd covered it up, letting his own workers starve. Under Wu Chen's piercing gaze, Tran Dong felt his entire soul begin to shrivel. "I don't want to hear it," Wu Chen snapped, turning to his security. "Audit all of his books, clean. Or not, he's fired. If he stole so much as a dime, send him to court." Tran Dong just collapsed. He knew he was finished. No site manager's hands are ever perfectly clean. Wu Chen paid him no mind. He just ignored him and called out to Max, who was about to leave. "Hold up a minute." After a quick chat, he gave it to him straight. "Follow me. Wealth, power you'll have." Don't hold back your strength. I'll handle any fallout. Max just blinked. His simple brain tried to process it all. A coworker nudged him. Max, what are you waiting for? Just say yes. Max scratched his head. Big boss, I just have big muscles and I know how to fight. What can I do for you? Protect me when danger comes, you stand in front. Follow my orders to the letter. That's your job. Max's eyes widened. That's it. I don't ask for much, just 3 square meals and $3,000 a month. Vincent laughed. 3,000. As my bodyguard, you're starting salary is 1 million a month. Even though Max was slow, he knew a golden opportunity when he saw one. The giant man actually teared up. Big boss, don't worry. Anyone who wants to hurt you has to step over my dead body. Meanwhile, at Flying Ascension Investment Co., Dylan sat in his office, his face as dark as a storm cloud. Remembering the humiliation from last night, his anger was burning like a wildfire. I need money, fast. I need to crush Wu Chen and step on Vincent's neck. He immediately fired up his system's investment vision and scoured the web. He looked for any opportunity, stocks, real estate, crypto. Suddenly, his eyes locked onto an auction notice on the Yung City government website. It was a massive plot of land. Prime location with a starting bid of 15 billion, but digging deeper, he found a catch. A swamp, the real kicker. His system was showing a massive return on investment. If he could buy it for 30 billion, he could make over $1 trillion. Dylan's blood boiled with excitement. He trusted his system completely. It had never been wrong. This land held a massive secret, if he could just get it. He'd surpass the Chu family and become the undisputed king of Yung City. He laughed like a madman, picturing Vincent kneeling at his feet, but reality hit. Like a truck, he only had 200 million in liquid cash. He needed 30 billion before the auction. Damn it, if Vincent hadn't ruined things, I could have borrowed it from the trans or dongs. Desperate, he searched for a source of fast cash. That's when he found it, a high-stakes stone gambling jade bidding event. Perfect, but to enter, he needed industry credentials. The Willow family was the perfect cover. Their debt was only a few billion. Pocket change once he made his trillion. He called Lily immediately, at the Tran family estate. Vincent had just fixed Mr. Tran's feng shui, receiving a $20 billion creative agency as a thank you. Walking to the parking lot, he then spotted a girl in a baseball cap waiting by his car, Tessa Leaf. She came to interrogate him about her brother, but the moment she looked up and made eye contact, she completely froze. This is Vincent Chu. The guy fighting my brother? Impossible. Why is my heart racing? Why do I feel like I found my soulmate? One look, and Tessa was completely entranced by his charm. As Vincent approached, she got flustered, her heart pounding. I'm Tessa Leaf from the Golden City Leaf family. I'm Dylan's sister. The closer he got, the more she panicked. I'm not here to fight. I just wanted to meet you, I swear. I think there's a misunderstanding between you and my brother. Someone as charming as you couldn't possibly be a bad person. Vincent just laughed to himself. The system's new mission, steal Dylan's entire harem, and his sister was the perfect place to start. So Vincent immediately invited her to dinner. Thanks to his maxed-out charm, he didn't just charm her. He secured a $1 billion investment from her, and she agreed to join him at the Jade Emperor auction that very night. That evening at the auction house, a whole convoy of luxury cars rolled up. Jaws dropped everywhere. Whoa, whose fleet is that? 4 Mercedes G500s were flanking a limited edition Rolls-Royce Phantom. The people stepping out were all elite bodyguards, and then, from the Phantom, Vincent emerged. Hearing the whispers, he just chuckled. Have a few guys guard the cars, don't let anyone scratch them. Soon, a stunning figure in a fiery red evening gown approached. Tessa Leaf, her confident smile mesmerized every single man there. The crowd parted like the Red Sea as she walked right up, looping her arm through his. They entered the venue together, soaking in all the envious glares of the crowd. Meanwhile, in the parking lot, Dylan and the Willows had just climbed out of a rented BMW C-Class. They heard the live streamers gossiping about Vincent's phantom. "Don't get the BMW in the shot. It ruins the luxury vibe," a streamer yelled. Dylan's face turned green. The humiliation from last night came surging back. Flexing with family money, I'm self-made. If I went back to the Leaf family, I'd drive a different limited edition car every single day. Lily, looking dazed, heard Vincent was here, and her eyes lit up. She used to ride in those cars. Now it felt like a world away. "If I see him inside, I'll beg for forgiveness." Her parents urged her to hurry on inside, embarrassed by the cheap car. But as they entered, Dylan froze solid. A deer in headlights, the Willow stopped dead. "What is it? Did the creditors find us?" Mr. Willow panicked. Dylan didn't say a word. He just stared dead ahead at Vincent and Tessa, his own sister, walking arm in arm. He was screaming on the inside. "Impossible, does she not know we are enemies?" He actually felt faint. "She must not know, I'll explain it all inside. This won't happen again." He was just fooling himself. Inside the auction hall, the auctioneer got things started. "Welcome, let's start with a Ming Dynasty blue and white porcelain vase. Starting bid 1.2 million. Neither Dylan nor Vincent bid, not interested. But when a rusty old birdcage was brought out with a low starting price, Dylan perked up. His system showed that if he bought it for 500,000, the return was 20 times. This cage was worth 10 million. He was ecstatic. "I'll buy it, reveal its true value, and slap Vincent right in the face with it." What he didn't know was that Vincent's investment skill was basically a system on steroids. He didn't just see the price. He saw its entire history and future price fluctuations, even the names of every previous owner. When the bid hit 700,000, the room went quiet. Going twice any other bids, Dylan smugly raised his paddle. 800,000, Mr. Willow whispered. "Is this thing special?" Mrs. Willow scoffed. 800 grand for a birdcage. "Are you crazy, Dylan? You don't understand," Dylan smirked. "This is worth tens of millions, just watch." And right then, Vincent lazily raised his own paddle. 1 million, all eyes snapped to him. In Young City, everyone knew his reputation. If he wanted something, he'd throw money at it until he got it. Nobody dared to compete. Dylan glared daggers at him. "He doesn't know its value. He's just trying to mess with me," Mr. Willow warned. "Don't fight Vincent. You can't outspend him." "Watch me," Dylan sneered and raised his paddle. 1.5 million. Vincent raised his. 1.5 million. Dylan snapped. 1.511 million. Clearly, Dylan was just being petty, adding the smallest possible amount just to annoy him. Tessa, sitting right next to Vincent, shot to her feet and yelled at her brother. "Dylan, have you lost your mind, you?" "No, Vincent bid on that. Why are you causing trouble? Stop this childish nonsense." Right now, Dylan was furious. He was clearly targeting Vincent and even his own sister. Tessa turned to Vincent apologetically. "I am so sorry, my brother's difficult. I haven't disciplined him properly." Vincent just smiled gently. "It's fine, he's right. Highest bidder wins. Now let me just wrap this up." He raised his paddle and yelled, 10 million. The entire hall gasped. Jaws dropped among the elites. 10 million for a rusty old cage, only young Master Chu would burn money like that. Dylan hesitated. The cage was worth exactly 10 million. If he bid higher, he would lose money. He just stayed silent, smirking. "As long as you don't make a profit, I am happy." The auctioneer slammed the gavel. "Sold to Chairman Vincent Chu. And all proceeds from this item will be donated to charity for Mountain Children." "Thank you, Chairman Chu, for your generosity." With a bit of smooth PR, Vincent's loss became a massive philanthropic flex, instantly boosting his reputation. He didn't care about the money. He just leaned over to Tessa, whispering, "Let me tell you a secret." "What is it?" she asked, thrilled by the intimacy. He whispered right in her ear, "I didn't actually lose any money on that. I made a killing." She just stared at him, completely in awe. After the auction, Tessa bid him a sweet good night. But the moment she stepped outside, her face turned to ice. She found Dylan waiting by a tree, looking absolutely miserable. "What is going on with you and Vincent?" Dylan demanded. "Why are you even with him?" "We are friends for now," Tessa said coolly, "but he might just be your brother-in-law in the future." Dylan completely exploded. "Do you even know what you're saying? The family will never accept him." Tessa just smirked. "When he stands at the same level as the Leaf family, they will." "Are you insane?" Dylan mocked. "The Leaf family built its empire over generations, and he's just some local landlord. He thinks he can match us." But Tessa's eyes shone. She knew he was different. She trusted her instincts. Turning on her brother, she said, "And as for you, Chul Lie, if you think he can't reach our level, what makes you think you're better than him? He outclasses you in every single way." Dylan was practically suffocating with rage. He was the protagonist. How could Vincent even compare? Words were completely useless now. "Useless," Dylan growled. "Just you wait. Soon, you'll be picking your jaw up off the floor." Tessa looked at him like he was an absolute idiot. "Why didn't I ever realize how brainless you were? This is your final warning. Do not provoke Vincent. If you do, I will beat you myself." She got into her car and sped off, leaving Dylan grinding his teeth. In his mind, one of them had to go. He jumped into his car, Chul Lie, and sped towards his next destination, Cloud City. Mr. Willow heard the plan and gasped. "You're going stone gambling?" "Yes," Dylan said. "I found intel on a mine the Kim family just opened. I can double his assets." Mr. Willow hesitated, but recalled Dylan's sharp eye at the auction and finally agreed. Meanwhile, no one saw Lily lurking in the shadowy corner of the car, her face twisting with conflict before it settled into a cold, determined resolve. At that moment, his private phone rang. The caller was Kevin Kim, young master of the Kim family in Cloud City and his best friend. In the original story, after he died, Kevin was the first to bring a crew to Jiang City for revenge, but Dylan was just too overpowered. Max Chang wiped the floor with Kevin's men. Dylan then seized the underworld, and Kevin died a gruesome death. But not this time. He refused to let his friend die again. "Old Chu," Kevin yelled. "I just got back from Myanmar with my old man. Saw the news that you finally dumped that trash fiancée of yours. I told you she was faker than a plastic plant. She never deserved you. Come on over to Cloud City. I'll hook you up with 1,000 girls, a new one every night." Our protagonist just chuckled as Kevin lowered his voice. "Sorry I missed your dad's funeral, bro. I was completely stuck in Myanmar. To make it up to you, come to Cloud City. Seriously, I have got a massive gift for you. We brought back an insane batch of raw jade stones. And I'm hosting a huge gambling event. Just show up, and I'll give you a barrack worth $1 billion on the house." But he hesitated. He still needed to keep an eye on Dylan to prevent his comeback. "Let me check my schedule. I'll let you know." Back at the villa, Chloe finished her report, then asked with just a hint of jealousy, "Young master, who was that woman at the auction? If she's your new girlfriend, please be careful. We can't let another Lily Willow happen. Want me to run a background check? She seems dangerous." Her eyes practically flashed with an assassin's level of hostility. "Stand down," he laughed. "That's Tessa Lee, Dylan's sister." Chloe blinked, then her eyes went wide. "Wait, so you hanging out with her wasn't an accident. That was a calculated move." Dylan stuck to Lily, "So you hit him with the Uno reverse and went right after his sister. Walking arm in arm with her. No wonder Dylan looked like he was about to completely implode." Her jealousy vanished instantly, replaced by sheer admiration, and just then his phone pinged. It was intel from his trackers. "Young master, Dylan bought 4 tickets to Cloud City." He was surprised. Kevin had just invited him, and now Dylan was going too. It had to be for the stone gambling event. With that system of his, he'll definitely make a fortune. "Pack your bags," he told Chloe. "We're going to Cloud City tomorrow." The next day in Cloud City, his helicopter landed smoothly at a private estate. Kevin Kim, rocking bright red hair and a loud floral shirt, was waiting with a dozen men. They all hopped into his convoy and sped toward the ultra-luxurious Fragrant Dream Club. The staff bowed as if they were greeting royalty. Kevin looked incredibly smug. They entered the top VIP room, where a line of stunning models walked in, turning the room into a personal runway. He was used to the memories of this lifestyle, but actually experiencing it for himself as a transmigrator wasn't so bad. He kicked his feet up on the crystal table and relaxed. But while the drinks were flowing, one of Kevin's own bodyguards sneaked into the bathroom. He made a quick phone call and deleted the log, but as he walked out, the bodyguard at the door immediately took him down. He knew he was busted. An hour later, the models were dismissed. Kevin's voice suddenly turned demonic. Bring him in. A traitor gets dragged in, shaking. Kevin just sits there, coolly puffing a cigar. Kevin tells him to call the number back. The guy lies, saying he called no one. And with a snap, Kevin smashes a wine bottle right over the man's head. But the bottle doesn't break. Chul-Leah watches this, completely amused. Kevin grumbles to him about a ruthless woman causing trouble for his family. They may be the biggest in Cloud City, but the Shen family is a huge problem. They are his main rivals in the jade business, led by the infamous Stella Shen. This woman took over her entire family overnight, forcing all the men to surrender. Kevin calls her a monster, but that name, Stella Shen, makes Chul-Leah's eyes light up. He remembers her from the novel, the woman who eventually wipes out the Kim family. She teams up with Dylan after he stages a few hero saves the damsel moments. She becomes the second female light in his harem, and then his system chimes in. A new god-tier choice unlocks. 1. Help Kevin crush the Shen family. Reward 100 billion cash. 2. Do nothing and earn an iron body skill. 3. Steal Stella Shen from Dylan, earning a god-tier fighting technique. He analyzes the choices. 100 billion. His investment skill can handle that. He doesn't need cash, and let Dylan get the girl, not a chance in hell. Option 3 is the obvious choice. Take the girl and get that god-tier skill. With his maxed-out charm, this should be a walk in the park. And instantly, his brain floods with master-level knowledge about jade gambling. His body shifts. He feels lighter, his senses sharpening to superhuman levels. This is insane. He can now hear the guards panicked, breathing from across the room. Meanwhile, Kevin grabs the traitor's phone and dials the number. A woman answers. Hello, Kevin just barks. I warned you to stop putting tails on me. Or I'll flatten your underground casinos, Stella Shen replies coolly from the other end. He asks about his merger proposal. Her reply, in your dreams, buddy. Kevin spits back that he'd rather burn his supply lines than let her profit. Such a pity, she mocks. You really lack vision. She'll get his secrets anyway. Then she hangs up. Furious, Kevin kicks the glass table, shattering it. He looks over at Max Chang. Hey big guy, you can fight, right? Do me a favor. Max answers honestly, I don't kidnap women unless the big boss orders it. Kevin just laughs. Kidnap? I'm a law-abiding businessman. Stella runs a few fight clubs. So let's go crash one. Want a shot at fighting inside the cage? Max, who loves underground fighting, looks at Chul-Leah with puppy dog eyes. Chul-Leah just smiles. Want to fight? Go ahead, let loose. This should be fun. Besides, he wants to check out Stella's fight club for himself, at that very moment. The original hero, Dylan, arrives in Cloud City, but his companion Lily has had enough. She finally realized love doesn't pay the bills and ignored him the entire flight. Dylan spends half an hour in a cold shower, trying to cool off his anger. He vows he'll never marry that woman. He's got a plan to get rich with Jade. But more importantly, he needs to get the Kim family's attention for a 30 billion loan. He marches into their Jade store, fires up his system, and gets to work. He buys a dozen stones for 500,000. People mock him, but they're in for a shock. When the stones are cut, they all contain premium jade. The entire crowd goes wild. Dylan is euphoric. This is the true power of being the protagonist. He heads upstairs. He spent $1 million and hit the jackpot again. The Kim family moved in fast. They immediately bought the jade from him. Dylan knew Kevin Kim was all business. The plan was for Chul Lee to think Kevin was taking the bait, but that was a huge mistake. What he didn't know was that Dylan and Kevin were already best friends. They sat together in the club's VIP box, looking down on the octagon cage. Below, two muscular guys beat each other senseless while the crowd screamed for blood. The club manager, a man named Knives, rushed up to their table. "Mr. Kim, and this is." "Call him young Master Chu," Kevin flexed. Knives immediately brought top-shelf booze. Dylan just gave a polite nod. He knew Knives would be working for him soon enough. Once he stole Stella's operation, anyway, Kevin, however, was just here to cause chaos. "Knives, your fights are pathetic. It looks like kids slapping each other around. Let my guy have a go at your fighters. We'll even put some money on it." Knives started sweating. Was this guy here to destroy his club? But he trusted his men. "Mr. Kim, my fighters don't hold back. If your guy gets hurt, don't come crying to me." "Less talking, more fighting," Kevin snapped back. At his signal, Max Chang took off his shirt. He stepped into the cage, and the crowd went feral, wanting to see this new guy get demolished. A scarred fighter who went by Fireball stepped in to face him. "A million if I win," he sneered. Max just sighed. "You're not getting that money." Fireball charged forward, aiming right for Max's throat, but Max's eyes just flashed. He swung a massive hand and slapped Fireball so hard the guy flew clean across the cage. He crashed hard into the chain-link fence, completely out cold. The entire club went silent. But Max didn't stop there. He started putting guys to sleep like it was nothing. In just minutes, he knocked out 17 of Stella's best fighters. Knives was losing his mind. "This guy isn't human," he frantically screamed into the phone, calling Stella. "Boss, Kim brought an absolute monster. He's destroying our entire roster right now." "Keep them there. I'm coming to make them bleed," Stella ordered with ice in her voice. By then, Kevin and Dylan were bored. "Let's bounce," Dylan said. Knives was powerless to stop them. Out on the highway, Kevin's Lamborghini led the convoy, followed closely by his guards. Dylan rode in a luxury Alfa van with Max. It was all going smoothly until the roar of engines echoed. A dozen motorcycles suddenly swarmed their vehicles. "Incoming." The radio crackled. Kevin just laughed. "Must be Stella. Well, I ain't stopping." A high-speed chase erupted. Kevin's Lambo vanished into the distance. But Dylan's heavy van started to lag behind. Soon, a sleek motorcycle pulled up. It cruised right beside his window. He glanced out, a little surprised by what he saw. The rider was a woman with a killer figure, the infamous Stella Shen. She glared at his tinted window. When their eyes met, Dylan just rested his chin on his hand. He gave her a calm little smile, and she completely froze. A jolt of electricity shot through her. What was this feeling? It was like she'd suddenly been dropped into a romance novel. Her heart hammered in her chest. An overwhelming urge took over her mind. "I must make this man mine." Stella slammed on her brakes, skidding to a halt and yelling. "Stop the car," but Dylan couldn't hear her over the wind. He assumed she was asking where. Kevin went, so he just pointed forward. Of course, Stella completely misread the situation. "Oh, a stubborn one," she smirked. "The more you resist, the more I want you." Her biker gang caught up, and thinking they were the enemy, they pulled out steel pipes. Then they started chucking them at Dylan's window. Max snatched a pipe straight out of the air. He bent it like a pool noodle. Dylan frowned. "These thugs are suicidal. Stop the car." "What's the order, boss?" Max asked. "Anyone who poses a threat gets eliminated." "Their bones reorganized," he said flatly. Before Max could strike, Stella sprinted over, screaming at her own men. "Are you all blind? Who told you to attack? If you hurt my man, I'll make you dig your own graves." The gang was dumbfounded. Usually their boss Stella didn't care if they hit the wrong guy. What was wrong with her today? Max gave Vincent a sneaky thumbs up. "Boss, you're a legend. We just got to Cloud City, and you already have a sugar mommy covering for us." Vincent paused for a second before it hit him. The famous Max charm strikes again. Stella then composed herself, walking up to him with absolute boss energy. "Vincent Chu, right? I fancy you. Come home with me." He nearly laughed out loud. Getting publicly kidnapped to be a sugar baby, that's definitely a first. What if I say no, he asked. Then I'll take you by force, she declared. You are the first man to make my heart skip a beat. I don't care what it costs. I'm locking you in my mansion as my personal toy. Kevin Kim can't save you. Her eyes burned with possessive desire. Vincent simply raised an eyebrow. Funny, I also like conquering feisty women. Why don't you come home with me and join my harem, he offered. I might even promote you to head concubine, Stella sneered. Looks like we do this the hard way, she pointed right at him, grabbed him, her men rushed forward but hesitated. They could tell Stella was completely obsessed with him, and they didn't want to accidentally injure their potential future boss. Max, however, had no such reservations. Like a bowling ball through pins, he leveled 6 guys in seconds. Feeling the itch to test his new god-tier skill, Vincent pulled out a deck of playing cards. They felt as sharp as razor blades in his hands as he flicked his wrist. A single poker card sliced through the air and embedded itself deep in a thug's thigh. The whole gang panicked. Who threw that? A playing card? Are we fighting Gambit? In under a minute, 20 thugs were groaning on the pavement. Stella was stunned. Vincent, I underestimated you. Having a monster guard is one thing, but you're a lethal fighter yourself. Fine, you win tonight, but I will hunt you down until you kneel before me. She hopped on her bike and sped off. Max asked if they should chase her. No, Vincent said calmly, let her run. It'll just make her more obsessed. Back at Jade Street, Dylan returned, eager to show off to the Kim family. The Willows, seeing how easily Dylan made money, decided to try it themselves with their last million. They bought a bunch of rocks. But when they were cut open, total garbage. Not even a speck of low-grade jade. Mr. Willow lost his mind. Impossible. I picked them exactly how Dylan did. A bystander laughed. You got scammed, old man. Those are fake rocks made for tourists. A simple flashlight would have told you that. The Willows realized they had been played for fools. Mr. Willow wanted to cry. He wailed that Dylan lied, purposely taking the fake rocks while he bought the real ones. Lily agreed. If he really cared, he would have helped us. He's just a selfish jerk. They stormed off to find Dylan and demand their money back. They found him in the Kim family's grand hall, surrounded by adoring staff, acting like a king. Dylan, you bastard, Mr. Willow roared. Why did you scam us? Dylan was totally bewildered. What are you talking about? Lily chimed in. You know exactly what. If you weren't going to teach us, why bring us here? You owe us money. Apologize and slap yourself, or I am done with you. Dylan felt a headache was coming on. It was déjà vu, just like at the gala, as he looked at Lily and felt a sudden, overwhelming wave of disgust. He couldn't believe he once thought she was a goddess, realizing the breakup was a massive favor to himself. Marrying her would have been an absolute nightmare. We'll talk later, Dylan gritted out, forcing down his anger to maintain his public image. You better, Lily huffed back. Ignoring them, Dylan went upstairs with the manager to check out more of the stones. And bam, he hit the jackpot again. The manager immediately placed a call to Kevin Kim. Kevin arrived not long after, looking exhausted from what seemed to be a car chase. He sized up Dylan. You're Dylan. Dylan gave a smooth nod. Hello, Mr. Kim. Cut the crap, Kevin snapped. Pick a few more stones. Let's see if you're for real. Dylan did, winning big yet again. Kevin was genuinely shocked. Does this guy have X-ray vision? Want to work for me? Kevin offered. I've got bigger games for you. Dylan played it cool. No contracts, no salary, just a cut of the profits for him. I come and go as I please. Kevin agreed, but with one condition attached. You work exclusively for the Kim family, nobody else. Dylan accepted. And just then the manager ran in, completely panicked. Stella Shen is here with her crew. She's demanding to see you, Mr. Kim. A grin spread across Kevin's face. He went downstairs, taking Dylan with him. Chasing my boys all the way here, Miss Shen. Kevin mocked her. I know you're desperate, but my guys aren't interested. Though if you want a job as a maid, I could ask him to take you. Stella pointed a finger right at him. Shut your mouth. Where's Vincent? Kevin just shrugged. He's tired, sleeping. Stella's glare intensified. Tomorrow night is your big jade auction. Don't blame me when things get ugly. Then she stormed out. From a balcony above, Dylan watched the whole exchange. When he saw Stella, his heart practically exploded. Now that he thought was a woman, wild, dangerous, and beautiful. Compared to Stella, Lily was nothing but trash. Kevin came back upstairs. Did you see that chick? That's the head of the Shen family. Extremely annoying. Kevin smirked. Do me a favor. Go to her shop, buy all the winning rocks. And then publicly announce that her entire inventory is complete garbage. Dylan hesitated. Doing that would ruin any chance he had with her. I don't want to. Kevin's eyes narrowed. Excuse me, nobody in Cloud City says no to me. Refuse and you'll be fertilizer by morning. Terrified of Kevin's very real threat, Dylan agreed. But a new plan was already forming in his head. Go to Stella's shop, show off his skills, win her over, then blame the whole sabotage plot on Kevin. The next morning at Stella's jade shop, Dylan used his system and bought a dozen rocks. He made a fortune instantly. The manager panicked and called Stella, who arrived very quickly. Dylan puffed out his chest, flashing what he hoped was a charming smile. Stella sat in her office, legs crossed, looking like a total mob boss. What do you want? Dylan leaned against the window, trying to appear deep. Kevin Kim sent me here to ruin your business, but I couldn't bear the thought of making you sad, so I chose to help you instead. And Stella's response was flat. If you protect me. From Kevin, I'll use my skills to help the Shen family crush the Kim family. He expected her to be thrilled, adding also, I'd like to take you out to dinner. After tonight's auction, Stella almost laughed out loud. She could practically smell the desperation and arrogance rolling off him. In her mind, he didn't even compare. And physically shuddered, but Dylan, completely misreading the room, thought it was a thrill of attraction. You get one chance. Stella's smile was pure danger. Help me pick winning stones at the auction tonight. Humiliate Kevin Kim. Dylan eagerly agreed, totally clueless that Stella had zero interest in him. After he left, her bodyguard asked, What's the plan for him, boss? Stella's eyes were ice. Capture him after the auction. We'll lock him up and use him as our own money printing machine. That very night at the Kim family's grand jade auction, the venue was packed with wealthy merchants. Dylan and the Willows strolled in using Kim family VIP passes. Dylan was ecstatic. I'll get the 30 billion, buy the land, and then I'll crush Vincent Chu. He walked right up to Kevin Kim. I'm not happy about you sending me to that Shen shop yesterday. Kevin just glared. I just want results. I'll do my job, Dylan said, but after tonight, I want the Kim family to lend me 30 billion. Kevin was stunned. 30 billion, for what? A highly profitable venture, Dylan deflected. We'll see how you perform, Kevin brushed him off. They walked deeper inside, and then suddenly Kevin stopped. He smiled warmly at a man standing ahead, a man with an elegant, untouchable aura. Dylan looked over at the man and his face froze solid. His lips trembled, unable to form a single word. Vincent Chu, what is he doing here?